Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and today we're going to be talking about what happened to Doomsday from the Injustice universe. Now, Doomsday for the most part remains largely absent for an extremely long amount of time in the comic books. He doesn't appear in year 1, 2, 3 or 4, and only really does appear in year 5. Now, the monster most certainly does make his appearance felt, as the first thing he does is plummet through Earth's atmosphere and land on the Flash's back, and then faces off against Superman. Now, Doomsday hadn't quite faced a Superman like this, in the sense that a lot of Superman's morals at this point had been thrown out the window, as he was clearly fine with killing people and ruling the world with an iron fist. So really at this point, the two could really let loose and cause some real havoc here. Now, despite Clark's rather cruel nature and ruthless aggression against Doomsday, he was struggling to defeat the beast, and in many cases was being thrown around like a ragdoll, even at one point getting hit so hard he went up into Earth's atmosphere. Now, as he's battling Clark in the docks, Superman can feel himself getting overwhelmed, but he doesn't have anyone from the regime that can help him out at this time. It's only until Bane intervenes and gives Clark the opportunity he needs to knock Doomsday out, in which Clark is actually able to defeat him. Without Bane, Clark would have most likely died from this battle. Knowing how ridiculously powerful Doomsday is, he wouldn't want to have to fight this being again by himself, or at all for that matter. So he took the body of Doomsday to Lex Luthor, where he ordered the man to break down Doomsday and find a way for him to control it. He wanted to have Doomsday be brainwashed, so he could be used as some form of attack dog if they were to be attacked by someone stronger than Superman. Now, the brainwashing was a success, so Doomsday would then be taken all the way to the Fortress of Solitude, where he would more or less lay dormant there for a little bit of time. You see, at the end of year 4, Lex Luthor had also been working on a Superman clone, but this clone was able to break free and went on somewhat a bit of a rampage. Obviously, this being was Bizarro and wanted to find a form of identity, so he would travel all the way to the Fortress of Solitude in order to find it, but instead he found Doomsday, and the attack dog was set on him. Now, for the most part, Bizarro was able to hold his own very well, even at one point overpowering Doomsday. That is until Clark had intervened, which turned the tide of battle. But here are where things change. You see, Lex is the one that's controlling Doomsday, and although he's working with Superman, he secretly wants to take apart the regime from the inside. So he turns off his control over Doomsday and sets him on Superman, and Superman is overwhelmed by the power of both Doomsday and Bizarro. It's only until Lex's conscience makes him realize how foolish this choice is, as it may reveal that he's secretly working with the insurgency. So he sets Doomsday back on Bizarro, and despite Superman's pleas of keeping Bizarro alive, the unhinged beast breaks Bizarro's neck, killing him. So from Superman's perspective, he sees the brainwashing plan as a failure and puts Doomsday on the shelf until he's needed and when they can fully control what he can do. So as you would expect, Doomsday would remain absent for a very long amount of time, making his next appearance in the main story of Injustice Gods Among Us, where Clark can be seen controlling him. Now, when Justice League members from a different universe enters his, he's quite wary of what to do, but decides to hold back Doomsday and use him as a last resort, because there aren't duplicates of everyone here, only a few, and his doppelganger is not around, so if his does surface, he will set Doomsday after him. Now, as the plot progresses and Lex Luthor is killed, he comes to the realization, in his eyes, that the world wants chaos and anarchy, so as such he gives it to them and unleashes Doomsday on Gotham and Metropolis. Now, this so happened to just be the right time that the Superman from the other universe would come across, so as expected, the regime Superman would send Doomsday after him, and Doomsday is a very formidable foe against him. Clark's in fact forced to carry him all the way from Metropolis to the Fortress of Solitude to avoid any collateral damage. Now, the two do fight, and Superman is able to defeat him and throw him into the Phantom Zone, which is actually the last time, canon-wise, we in fact do see Doomsday. Now, so far within Injustice 2, we haven't heard any word about him, and the Phantom Zone has more or less been locked off in the Fortress of Solitude. So what does this actually mean for Doomsday as a character and his future within this universe? Well, it's very hard to say as of right now. Doomsday is a very powerful and destructive force in the DC universe, so there's always the possibility that he can return, especially if we take into account Batman's ending in Injustice 2, where Superman is sent to the Phantom Zone. Now, although Clark may be depowered at this point, there's no doubt in my mind that Clark's powers can regenerate and he can become essentially Superman again. But what does this have to do with Doomsday? Well, as I have speculated in an older video, I wouldn't at all be surprised if we were to brainwash people and make an army out of the individuals locked away in the Phantom Zone, with one of these individuals being Doomsday. So that's what I personally believe is the future for the character if they choose to go with the Batman ending for the next game. But until then, we can only somewhat speculate on what we can see from the character in the future. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video. Hopefully it's given you a little bit more insight on the character and what could be the possible future for him. Now down in the comments below, please let me know who you'd like to see me talk about next. Just a heads up as well, that there will be a Soul Calibur video this Saturday, so if you are a massive fan of that, please keep an eye out for it. And there will be some Dragon Ball FighterZ stuff starting as of next week. So if you're a fan of that, please keep an eye out for it. Now before this video wraps up guys, if possible, let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel as YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. So by giving it a thumbs up, it helps out a ton. And if you want to go the extra step, we also have a Patreon set up. A link for it will be down in the description below. Anyway guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.